It might be too high.
Huh?
Can you
Okay,
put it
we're
up
live,
here?
everybody. Oh, okay. So there's nobody in here, I don't think.
That's too high.
I'm gonna. I don't think there's anybody in here. That's okay if
I
nobody
never
comes.
knew, but I gave everybody.
I didn't tell
I
nobody
gave
either,
everybody
but
share
everybody
notes.
knows.
Yeah, they'll watch it later.
You're fine. Yeah, we ended up getting like 80 something views.
I don't know.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh, that's okay. I don't care. Put it closer to the. Okay. It's not gonna fall. Boop, they can't see us that good. There's nobody in there, anyways. Anywho, so let's just talk. I had a past life reading yesterday, and it was wild. See, they can't see me. You can be shorter. It was so wild, dude. It was so freaking wild. The person that was doing it on me did like astral projection type of deal with me. Like, it was crazy. I traveled with somebody. I don't know. We suck.
We should go back inside. We could do it inside.
Okay.
That's pretty.
They're not doing it.
So what did they say?
So I went back to a time where there was Quetzalcoatl
Okay.
and all these kings and gods and shit. And I guess I was there when they were doing some crazy ass ceremony. And what else happened? All this stuff. It was so cool. Cause I really hadn't had one because I never do them on myself. I just do them on other people.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, this is so interesting.
Wow.
Anywho,
I know I heard
what did
about
you?
that.
I bet yours would be interesting, dude.
Think so?
Yeah.
I guess a wild dream. I'll tell you that.
Do you think you know any of your past lives?
Oh, I kind of have a hint because I'm like if I try to do what that was, it just seems easy for me. Like if I've already done it.
Oh. Yeah, like deja vu?
So it's easy for me to do certain things in this time, in this day and age, since I've already done it. And I don't know. That's just how I feel sometimes.
Like, I'll stay on here until you set up inside.
Okay.
And then,
I'll go with you.
my sister's in here.
I didn't even know you had a sister.
Yeah, I have a sister, and she has a show. It's about Bigfoot, and it's about hoaxes, like people that do hoaxes. So she like
You know,
uncovered
I
all
was
the
gonna do
hoaxes.
that one time too. I was gonna
You
order
were for
suit
Bigfoot?
and like do a video, but I was like, probably someone would shoot at me, and I don't want to be on the news. So I was like, nah. That was when I was younger though.
My sister's her show is pretty successful.
Oh, the Bigfoot.
Yeah. So they're setting up
You know, funny.
inside because
The name Bigfoot is not patented. Anybody can use that name
oh yeah, that's true.
until Bigfoot becomes like out in the open, and he owns the rights to that name.
Do you think Bigfoot is real?
Man, I don't know. There's ever since we have video footage and the camera and everybody has cameras now, you see a lot of weird stuff, you know.
Hello, Michael Haywood. Welcome to the show. We're talking about stuff. Right now we're talking about Bigfoot, but before we were talking about past lives.
It's crazy lightning.
Oh, don't worry, Joe. And I really think that I haven't ever had this happen or like gotten any hypnosis on it or anything, but I really feel like I drowned on the Titanic because I've always just been like super drawn to that ever since I very first heard about it when I was a kid.
I know I'm scared of water.
Yeah, maybe you did drown one time. So I know for sure.
Water, it just flips me out, you know.
So you don't swim?
Well, I don't mind a pool or something, but I wouldn't be in the ocean.
Yeah, fuck that. Now, have you seen Shark Week?
But I'm not
Shark
going all the
Week.
way in.
Holy shit, there's a dog.
I grew up with dogs.
Okay.
Oh. You have an intruder.
That's a cute name. Sorry about that. That's okay. I know for sure that I was a Indian warrior, a little boy, and I grew up into be a warrior. And I know for sure that my real dad, that's my dad now, was my dad then when I was an Indian warrior. And I know for sure I was a gangster in the 70s, and I was like shot. And then I know, what was the other one I know? Oh, Ireland. I was like back in the days in Ireland when like the houses had like grass on top. I was a woman that time. And I know that I was an Egyptian slave. I think that's the only ones I know of for sure, because those are the ones that I went under hypnosis for. So like you don't even have to believe in past lives to get past life regression hypnosis, because it doesn't matter if you believe it or not, or if it's make believe or not, because whatever you're seeing in your mind is what your subconscious needs you to see at the moment. So either way, it helps. It helps. So like, let's talk about that second sun in China. Why are they doing that?
Oh, dude. I don't know. I mean,
are they trying to make people work longer?
I know today. I don't know. I know today was hotter than hell.
Yeah, it was. And that's Flagstaff. It was so hot here. It's not supposed to be that hot. Still. It was like a heat wave.
Like, Phoenix is hot. Flagstaff is hot. But when the sun hits, like beats down on your arm, it burns you.
Yeah, you can't be in it because it burns. Your skin starts to burn.
It just, I don't know. Just don't make sense, man. It's just weird.
How about, I don't know, some people say that the moon is fake, and I hate to believe that. I don't want to ever believe that.
Well, I know that. Who was it? Was it Neil Armstrong or Buzz? What was his name?
Buzz, what's his name?
One of them said that when they conducted a study, they slammed what was that aircraft they were flying in, to land on the moon. They used that to hit the moon to check the density. And it rang like a bell, they said.
Why is there echo?
I don't know why there's an echo. Is something on YouTube in the house?
No, my computer.
No,
my phone is almost dead.
Okay. Go in. Get in on the computer. Are you in on the computer?
I'm in on your computer. Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's see if the echo goes off when I go off, and I'll be right there.
Okay. I would think it shouldn't though, because she's all the way outside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Go ahead, Suze.
I'm trying to, but I can't go out. Anyway, we can keep talking until I find my way out.
You can't just close it.
I'm trying.
I hate you.
Oh, okay.
Hi, everybody. Echo. Oh, no.
Hello.
I don't
Hello.
like this angle. Oh, wait. I have my headphones on and yeah, sorry. User error. There we go. So I've been watching Tartaria videos. And there's a lot of crazy stuff it talks about. There we are. So
No,
like
I
one of the things is talking about how you know, lifelike some of the sculptures are of people or whatever, and it showed that one that's made out of marble, and it's that guy like in a net, and it looks like he's
Oh
in a
yeah,
net.
the net, and it's like, how did one have the tools to do that type of
We can't even do
sculpture
that
without
now.
error? Yeah,
Right.
because there's like, it's so perfect. There's like no room for error. I mean, it
Right.
was, you know, I
And it
mean, if
looks
there was
so
an error, you
realistic.
start over.
Right.
Yeah, and detail in it was just like unreal. Or I like the one where they have the woman and she has like a veil,
Oh yeah,
and it's
yeah.
almost like in a way where you can see her face through the veil, but it's in stone, and it's just
Right.
remarkable to see stuff like that, you know.
And it
But
looks they look
yeah.
so realistic, their facial expressions and everything.
Did you see that
Um,
video I sent you?
well,
sent
I
both of
haven't
you.
had a chance to. I don't think I did. Which one? Oh, the Suns one?
Well, no, just recently I sent you the video, and I said, look in the comments, because I couldn't share that video of what she posted, but I shared something with you.
I think I
earlier.
did. I think I did see it.
Yeah, and there was a video, and she really had a good way of explaining, you know, Tartaria. Just
Oh yes,
made
yes.
sense, you know. She had a lot of information.
And there's information on like the Library of Congress. The CIA website had some like stuff. I didn't.
Yeah.
The way that it looks though, it's hard to read it because they don't have any spaces. And like no like spacing, like it's just like all like one long word. I was like, how does somebody read this, dude? Like I kept losing my place. Because there's no separation. So it's like obvious that they must have done that on purpose because it was something that was you know, released or whatever.
Well, you seen the buildings where like the mud flood where,
Yeah.
you know, they dig it out and there's like almost like as much building on top as in the bottom, you know, or even further maybe.
Right. Or the thing that
like
got me too is all the old pictures with no people and these giant buildings everywhere, but there's no people in the pictures.
Yeah, that's another thing, huh? You just see like these big cities and then nobody. It's like,
right.
You know, with a
and
city
they're trying
like
to tell us
be
that they
people.
Right. And so I think it's it's plausible, dude, that they might have just discovered all these buildings and then been like, hey, we're going to just tell everybody that we made this, okay? And like,
yeah,
you know, set up society around that, like erase all that history before, because we don't want them to know that, you know, they're powerful enough that they made these buildings. We want them to think
I don't know why they wanted to erase them from history. Why would they go through the efforts to deliberately, like, really erase?
Because if you could, like, if there was if something cataclysmic happened and you had an advanced society with certain technology, and something cataclysmic happened, maybe evil people like drew something here, or something cataclysmic happened that left all of the technology and all of the buildings and everything here, but just not very many people. Those people could erase history and write it differently so that we wouldn't know to question and see if there was technology. They probably still, whoever did this and they passed it on to their generations or whatever, probably still have access to that, like, technology, the technology they talk about in like Atlantis and things like that. Hi everybody. That's why I mean, that's, to me, that's why I think maybe they would do that. And I think it's gotten away from, like, you know, them. You know, there's a reason that they separate everybody and dumb people down and like everything in our history. Like, yeah, we don't even really know if it's really the year 2022 or like if it's really, you know.
I know, huh?
It's like we can't really tell if time is actually moving slower or if it seems like it's moving slower, because we don't have anything to weigh against the time that we have that they tell us they tell us that, you know, there's this many, this, and we don't actually know that because like there's no way to measure that. We've just always accepted that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's interesting though, because you know, I feel like
put it up here.
I feel like the answers are out there. It's just that you know, people are just now kind of starting to ask. Not just now, but you know, like because before we just believed them because we didn't have a reason not to. So nobody questioned anything.
No, I know.
I mean, there's pictures on a website I was looking at because I was trying to see, and I was on the Tor browser. I was trying to see pictures from like the early 1800s of architecture in America. And like they were either drawings or they were like in the late 1800s. And it was something that could have been staged. Like they could have just gone on top of like a building that was left there that they discovered and said that this is when we were building this part of the White House. Like we actually don't really know.
Well, check this out. Whenever you look at an old building, sometimes you'll see something inscribed maybe on a brick or something on the side. Pay attention to that next time. Pay attention to the established, or what's another one? It's like they'll use that. They'll be like established and it'll show a date. And then they'll say, what's another one they'll use? They'll use
Here.
not built. Just pay attention to that first part before they put the year.
Right.
Because they'll use certain words that, but they'll never put like built. You know, it's always established or I forgot the other word, but
Let me pull up something.
Copyright.
There was a picture, but it was like an artist rendering of, and it said something 1814, right? So like right before the picture, it was saying how because of, you know, unrest in Great Britain, George Washington and them like came in onto the shores of the Americas in 1812, and then it shows this picture.
Yeah, like 1812. We don't know that much about.
We don't
know much about that war. There's like barely anything written on that war. There's so much left out, and it's like.
And then there's a picture that says it's a drawing, but it's supposedly a picture of like the president's house or something in Washington D.C. and it was a like drawn in 1814, and it's massive. And there's no way that they came over on boats and then built that shit. There's no way, dude. There's no way.
Because they didn't even have machinery. It was just like.
Right. They didn't have supply.
They're still working with wood and like they didn't have any like they didn't have no steel crane. They weren't even into steel yet. You know, I mean.
Right, but this building it had pillars and. You know, it was huge.
Pull up that picture. That was like, it was like so elaborate. There's no way in hell. Like, that's so crazy.
Well, that's how the Brooklyn Bridge was. If you look at those pictures I sent you, there's no machinery. And you'll see that one man in the picture that's standing next to a brick that's almost as big as a damn car. I mean, it's big.
Right.
And then you'll see like some type of like pulley system, ropes and stuff. But you don't see any machinery. It took 14 years to build that bridge, supposedly, you know, and it's just amazing. I mean, you had to see it today still. I mean,
well, and like even San Francisco, the pictures of San Francisco back like after that fire that supposedly started because of an earthquake that like knocked over a lantern in a barn, and like the whole city's obliterated.
The whole city. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the whole city was in mud. That they made the gold rush a hoax, and they used that. I mean, they used the gold rush as a hoax to get people to move that way, and they didn't really find gold. So then they moved. You know, they went to San Francisco, and that's when they dug out the city, I guess, supposedly. But they hid that history. That I mean, that's just hearsay. You know,
so much history. We're gonna find out so much stuff, but. I think the key is to just take it and calmly.
hey, check this one. I got one for you. Check this out. This will blow your mind.
blow my
Okay,
mind.
okay, you know Meteor Crater, right? You've seen pictures,
Oh,
you've
yeah.
been there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they say how many years old is it? It's millions of years old, right? Now, everything that we find of the ground that they say is old is always buried, right? Buildings, bones, everything is always under the ground. You know, even over there, the Aztec temples were under the ground. Remember? If you see a
Okay.
picture when they had, I mean, they had to really dig it out, you know, to make it what it is today. How come that looks fresh? Over after millions of years, wouldn't it like taper off, kind of like, you know, like a bowl, maybe weathered and all that, rather than it be standing the way it is? You know, it
I
just
think
don't
it's a
make sense.
bubble. I think it's
But
a
it don't make
mud
sense
bubble.
because
A mud bubble.
if it was a crater, it wouldn't look the way it is today if it was millions of years old. It looks fresh to me.
What is
Whatever.
the mud? Wait, what was it called? The mud flood. What is
Right.
that, you guys? Does anybody know what that is?
They don't know. There's just like large deposits of mud like all over the world. Like something
Supposedly,
happened.
Layer of black dust all over the world that they can.
When did it
But there
happen?
was
And buildings
23
buried.
years of darkness
Yeah.
There
on the
was.
planet.
They say
And
that that's
everything
going to
died.
happen again.
It is. What'd you say, Robert? I'm sorry.
oh no, I didn't say. I just coughed. No, but anyways, the mud flood. Nobody really knows, you know. I mean, there's pictures of people, you know, like, you know, black and white pictures, but there's no telling when it came because those buildings are old.
Yeah.
Like we said, you know, those buildings are. I mean, who knows how old they are? I mean, but they made it a point to destroy a lot of them after the World Trade Fair. I know that for sure. If you look up in history, after each, you know, country that had its World Trade, that's when all the buildings started coming down. I mean, it's funny because if you look at, I mean, really look into it, it was always by fire. And I'm like, I don't know how does a building that strong burn, you know?
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, that's rock stone. It was almost like, do you remember Poland when World War II, the buildings were still standing after they bombed that wall. The walls were so strong, they still stood, remember?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was rubble, but there was a lot of buildings still standing. So I don't understand how fire could have burned that down, you know?
That is a thought. It makes me wonder. I wonder how many times Earth did redo. You know what I mean?
Look at that, dude.
Or like
There's
a reset.
no-
Well, you remember,
Yeah.
you ever heard of the orphan trains?
Yes,
back
I
in-
was telling her about that today.
Oh God,
There's
she
like
just told
different
me about
races.
that.
They would get races of children and just ship them everywhere in this country. And I was like, you
And
know,
they
how do you
purposely
reset the
told
minds of
Irish
people? You know,
people
take the children away from the parents and send them elsewhere, and you know, don't talk about it. And
We bred Irish people, or Irish.
Who
like,
did that? Like,
to
why did
make
they do that?
mulattoes.
Who are the people?
well, a
that
lot
did
of them went into the Catholics. I mean, the Catholic schools. And you remember, like, you know, the Catholic schools have been exposed for a lot of the stuff that they've done. You
Yeah.
know, especially in Canada. Remember up in Canada, all
Mhm.
those children. And all that. I mean, like I was raised Catholic, and I know that the nuns and priests, they were mean, man. When
Oh yeah,
you
they
know,
were
back
mean.
when we were young, you know, I mean, they weren't. I don't know. I remember having she was mean, you know. I remember hearing the stories, you know, and it just, I don't know, just didn't make sense, you know. I don't want to get into religion.
I
But
know.
look
I
at
watched
that,
the
dude.
whole.
Look at the Smithsonian. Like that, there's no freaking way. They had horses and buggies, dude.
I know.
And
There's
they
a picture. I'll
supposedly
send you a
built that-
picture. There's this building that they say a lot of people that are like into Tartaria. There's this
Mhm.
building that is so old. There's a black and white picture. I'll send it to you. I'll try to find it.
Okay.
And you'll see a horse carriage. It's kind of funny because there's like one horse, there's a carriage, there's someone in the bottom, but the building is so. I mean, it's like something out of a movie, like, you know, those type of like castle type buildings. I mean,
Right.
the architect on it is just wild, you know. And I got pictures of it when it was standing, and then I got pictures of it when it's destroyed. But you know,
Like
I'll send
didn't they?
it to you.
Didn't the what's it called? U.S. Capitol building burned down like in our past supposedly, and then it like they did that. They just
Yeah,
Was
because
it
it's
the
funny because
Capitol?
you'll never find pictures of that building ever starting in the beginning. I
Right.
think. Don't quote me on that, but
Right.
I think there's no pictures like of it started. They only showed pictures of it like kind of like towards the end. Like what do you call it? Remodeled,
Right.
like you would say, remodeled.
Right. And that's like, oh yeah, because it's the hood, the dome or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is, yeah. It's not cool, man. Like, you know, they
Everybody's starting
know-
to wake up though. You know,
Mhm.
yeah.
people are starting
I
to
want
see
to say
things
hi
about
to people in
different.
the chat. Hi, Ben. You know, I was trying to get Ben on when we died last week.
Oh yeah.
I wanted him to get on so bad. I was trying to.
Anybody's welcome to come
Yeah,
on.
anybody's welcome to get on. I'll put it again. And
Oh wait, what happened? The Twin Towers blown from inside out. I heard
oh, that's what they say. Some
they
people
were
say.
demolished. Yeah. Well, there was another building that fell just like them. That was
Yeah, was
not even close.
people are
to
going to
the-
be really upset when they find out about that.
I know. But you know what's like, so we wanted to actually preface the show by saying we don't necessarily know what we believe. We just, you know,
We're just
we
talking
believe
about it.
Yeah, we're just talking about stuff. And we
I don't know
believe
what
that
we just like talking about it.
right. And well, because since we
I like to
since we
keep an
don't like
open
none of us
mind about
know
everything.
anything for sure, we shouldn't like, you
Mhm.
know, laugh at anything because we don't know anything.
Yeah, and so we're not claiming to know, and we
No.
just want to have an open mind.
Just
Really
curious.
fun.
right.
Yeah.
It's fun thinking about stuff.
Mhm.
That's when people start to figure stuff out. And then once you like one little thing clicks and you're like, wait a minute,
Wait
and
a
it makes you
minute.
think about something else. And then
Another
you're
thing
like,
clicks.
wait a minute. That actually
Yeah,
makes
it's
sense.
almost like it's like getting two pieces of the puzzle, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know, you kind of like fit that picture, and it becomes more clear. You know, each puzzle is connected, and it's like you just keep going deeper and deeper down that rabbit hole. You know, and it's like, well, where does it end?
Right. Well, it ends in a
Mhm.
world that's better than the one we have now. That's for sure. That's what
Well, I always thought,
that's the
I
goal.
always thought if you died, you know, what if you died in some, and they said, how was hell?
Right.
White.
Well, you
Or
know,
if you died, or they
yeah,
said,
right,
how was
could be
heaven?
like that.
You
It
know,
might
vice
be that
versa.
way. Because
Like,
I
this
can't
was heaven?
imagine, you know, what we're in pretty now is pretty hellish, I would say, especially in Phoenix because it's hot.
Yeah. And it's getting hotter and freaking hotter every summer.
Dude, the weather's been weird lately.
Doesn't-
Oh, so like I took a
Everywhere.
picture the other day of the sunset, right? And I've seen I think they're called corpuscular rays or something like that, where it like goes out like a fan or whatever. I've seen that before, coming down and going up, but I've never seen a shadow cast in one thing. Like it was weird. Let me see. Where's my phone? It was weird. And I was like, I had to like darken the picture so you could see it, but it was like just a single shadow, like not rays, but like I don't know how it was creating that shadow. Do you know what I'm
No,
talking
yeah,
about?
I
The
know.
picture?
Yeah, there's some weird
I was
shit.
like, what the hell?
How
it
is that
doing
where
I
it's
know what you mean. Almost like, no, I know what you mean. Like there's a layer of clouds, and then you got another layer of clouds, and then you got the sun up here, and somehow it shines through somehow, and it creates this shadow.
No,
I know what you
not that. Not that. So no, like there wasn't clouds like over there where the sun was really. That's the other thing too, where the shadow was cast. The sun was actually like to the south of that or whatever on the
Mhm.
horizon. So like the sun was going down, and it was like right below the horizon, and like right at the horizon there was a circle, a dark like a shadow, and then a shadow going out like this, like one ray, and then the sun was over here. Hang on.
Oh, okay. I think I.
It says here, that mom is saying one reason it was so well preserved is that it formed relatively recent in geological terms. So yeah, relatively recently, we're like Earth is. I mean, like,
I think that it was a mud bubble. I used to think it was a meteorite because that's much cooler. But I think it's a mud bubble because there's so or even a lava bubble because there's so much volcanic activity right there. If you look at it from like aerial view, you can see all these different like little cinder cone things. Like something was bubbling, dudes. There was some shit coming up from the ground.
Well, what do you think of that that picture of the sun I sent you?
The two suns.
No, the one where I sent you the picture and it shows the clouds behind the sun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I'm
That
like,
was
how is that possible if the sun's like 93 miles? You know, it's over 93 million miles. I'm like, what are
Okay,
there
I
clouds?
just saw that one.
Are there clouds behind the? Are there clouds on the sun then?
It's one of the recent ones. It's the last one he sent us.
no, I saw
Yeah,
that.
it didn't make sense.
Oops. Yeah. Hang on, let me pull this up here. It does. It's been so weird, like and like the clouds being
Because
so
you see those clouds that are like right in front of the sun, and then you see another set
Mhm.
that's behind the sun, and that's what's odd. There's two different sets, one in front and one behind.
That is
And that's
weird.
it. And I'm like, that's impossible. If the sun is 93 million miles, it would all be
right.
in front.
Yeah. Oh,
Look,
that's
the
weird.
sun was over here,
Yeah.
And then there's one right there.
and then it's just that one shadow, and then this. I don't think I've ever seen that happen either when I've taken a picture.
I wish
It's
we could put
usually
that on there. I
flat.
wish we knew how to put that on there.
Well, I can get on my computer and put my headphones on, but then I'm
Yeah, that
still
was
on yours.
Yeah.
I
I think
or I can just not go on, not put my mic on, but go on the
I
computer.
tried that. It still gave us an echo.
Oh,
I don't know why. But
here I'll send it to you in Messenger, and then you can edit. That's what I'll do.
mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. As I've been trying to
I
figure
don't know.
out the sky because it seems weird. To
I don't know.
me.
You don't have to do that because I don't know how to put it in there anyways.
Huh? Oh, I do.
Okay.
I think. Oh, yeah.
Anyways, so how do meteors get through the dome?
I didn't mean to
How do meteors get through the dome? Well, nobody said it was the dome.
We don't know if it's a dome yet.
We don't know, and that's because I think we're all within the same system.
It's a force field. I'm just
We're
kidding.
all like we don't know that stars are far away. Nobody said they were the stars. You know, shit falls from above. Whatever's above us is above us. It's high up there.
What if we die? And then
maybe
we-
it's a hope to make us think that shit does come from outer space.
We have to go to work.
Hmm? Wait, what was that?
I said maybe it's a hoax to make us think that stuff does fly from outer space into or the Earth. I don't know.
I mean, I think stuff can fall all the time.
Who knows?
Heavenly bodies are, I don't know. I don't know what they are. I was a giant astronomy nerd, so, looking at stuff and being disappointed in how fake it looks it sucked a little.
Yeah, it just kind of sucked. Like we almost convinced ourselves that dinosaurs weren't real. Also, the other day.
Yeah.
So
No,
we
I think that men. I do think that maybe men.
Well, haven't you seen pictures like there's like paintings like paintings that are like 400 or 500 years old, and when you look in the background, people painted what they saw back then, right?
Mhm.
Basically,
Oh, there's
and
UFOs and shit.
you'll see where there's like someone paints like a lizard type dinosaur, or you'll see where like there's buildings up today that still stand where there's like a person that's big, and then the person next to it's like real small up today. Or you ever seen the Egyptian, some of the hieroglyphs? They don't show you everything, but they show a part where the Egyptians are carrying the bricks on their shoulders.
Oh, yeah, I saw that
And
too.
they show where the man is no taller than the knee. Man is like all the way up to their knee. Like there's.
Oh, I definitely think people were bigger back in the day.
Like
Oh, they were.
Yeah, like the Egyptians were like big.
We
you
had
know.
more oxygen back then and more sunlight.
More sunlight.
So,
But see, the pyramids were already there before the Egyptians. So
I
some
think so.
other
I think so. I do. I think
some
so.
other race built them.
Who thinks
Yeah.
that? Who else thinks that in the chat? Pop in.
Yeah.
Put us up. Let's come on. Let's challenge.
I think I sent you a picture.
Challenge accepted.
Because if there is two warring civilizations, whoever wins that war, I can't remember who said this quote, but whoever wins the war, that's the person who writes the history. They write it to
words written by
reflect
the
what
victor.
they want, dude.
It's gonna make.
They're not
History
going to
written
talk
by the
about what
victor,
really
yeah.
happened.
Don't hear the losing side.
Right. And that
Yeah.
happens today, like in every little thing that we see every day.
Everywhere.
Like politicians, what do? Like they do that, and you hear whatever the history is of the prevailing people or
Mhm.
party or whatever, And that becomes like people believe that and know it instead of like taking a second to like, wait a minute, it doesn't even, it doesn't make sense. And there's a lot of stuff too that like we all have asked before. I know we have. Like how did they build that when they don't know how to like read and write yet or whatever? I mean that's kind of an exaggeration, but
yeah,
they
might have known. But
who
who here believes that there's something big coming? Something's gonna happen, or who here just thinks nothing's gonna happen?
We would have never known. I mean, who would have predicted COVID? Or this whatever it is, or
A lot of people actually predicted it.
All kinds of stuff happening these days. I mean,
yeah.
It's like the other day I was watching something on. You ever watch the Vice?
Yeah, I love
They're on
Vice.
YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about like people that like young guys that are like they have like podcasts and they're getting all wild up, or they were showing people that they were showing their lives of what led up to their killings, because there's been a lot of killings in this country lately. People just go in and just start shooting people and walk out like it's nothing. I mean we only hear bits and pieces, but lately there's been a lot of this going on.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot.
can you imagine if they were to show everything every day? I mean, this country's crazy, man. I mean, thank God we don't have that up here, but I mean, it could happen anywhere, and they were talking about it, and it's funny because a lot of these guys are like, just like hate. They were talking about hate, like there's this new ideology going around where like men are becoming like anti-women and shit, trying to say separate the men. Like, what the hell's that about, and I'm
Wait,
like,
say that again.
Like all the bad shit.
they were talking about like there's this movement like of men that just like, we don't need women in this world, we do it ourselves, this and that, and I'm just like,
We're doing the same thing.
but these guys, a lot of these guys that were saying that lost their mind and went and killed people, and I'm just like, their ideologies just, I don't know.
It sucks because it doesn't have to be like that, man.
But it makes me wonder where it comes from. I try to understand, where does one think like that? Where does that come from?
It comes from being lost.
Yeah, it comes from
Humanity,
not
not knowing who we are and not knowing the truth, and we're lost, dude. We are lost, and we have been purposely led astray. So we got to stand up, and be like, wait a minute, because we all are really smart, and we all are powerful beings.
Yeah, we've been led to believe that we're like the fleas of the universe, and we're absolutely not. We are way more than fleas.
I used to think that too. I used to think like that, and I'm like, you know what? I think we're barely learning. You know what I mean? Like what it really is. Like spiritual awakening. Just I'm pretty sure you guys feel it, huh? Like where you're starting to,
dude. So much, yeah.
You disagree with all the rhetoric crap out there, and you're just like, you want nothing to do with it no more. The politics, the racism, the hate, and all that crap. You just like want away from it, And the news like shows a lot of that,
Mario's asking what our thoughts on the natural gas being cut off for the new Green Deal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm worried about that.
Wait,
what are you talking about?
What is it? Like, what's happening?
What will they do when that happens?
Then what did they do?
They're talking about the natural gas and what?
Yeah, the green movement. The
green. I don't know. He said, wait, where does it say?
The green. Oh, right there.
The
Green Deal.
The Green Deal. How they're cutting off natural gas for the Green Deal. Oh wait, Ben just came on, I think.
Oh, cool.
You mean to like England and all that?
Yeah, I don't even know. I was reading Mario's question.
Hi, Ben.
Oh, Shelly, moderator back
Do
here.
you
How y'all
know?
doing?
Hi, we're good.
Hello.
Do you know anything about the Green Deal and the gas?
No, I do not. I
Me
do not.
neither, but it sounds
The
not good.
Green Deal.
I don't know much either.
Yeah.
So they are trying to move away from oil as an energy source, but the whole world's economy is based on oil. So when they do that, everything else will shift.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. No, they're
All
preparing
US
people to
dollars is in
shoot,
oil.
but they're gonna need something to blame it on.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They don't care about greenness.
No, they don't. They
The
don't
size
care
of their
about the grain. They don't care about
the
the
money.
Is this the new clean energy bill?
Absolutely.
Anything done under the guise of helping is really super just not. It's not. It's a bunch of bull pucky.
Some more
It's
bullshit.
literally
Bull pucky?
bull. It's so much bull.
Bullcorn.
So we are trying to now. We are trying to now go with green energy, right?
Mhm.
And I'm telling you right now, China opens up at least one coal plant a day.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
They're not trying to go green. They're using that as a
As an
reason
excuse.
and an excuse to do things and further their
Agenda. Yeah.
Mhm.
agenda.
Okay. Yes.
Because
Yes.
nothing
Definitely.
makes any sense. Well, first of all, we already are green because, like, literally, we live on a planet where food grows out of the ground when water falls from the sky.
Mhm.
Like, so, like, there's no need for us to be trying to ship, shit across the ocean for
Yep.
food. Like, when you can, like, grow the food right there,
Yeah.
they overcomplicate everything and the only reason they do that, it's like, let's see how many ways we can screw the same person,
Mhm.
but under different guises or ways.
And here in Arizona, there was the GIP Gap, or what's it called? The GIP Gap program, where you took this class, and the USDA and a lot of other organizations would help you, get your farm going. They had the farmers back. And basically what it was they weren't inspectors, but they were there to help you to write a protocol, a curriculum of a practice of how you farm. So just to educate you so nobody gets sick, using clean water, testing,
Yeah.
just certain practices, And
Yeah.
now, I don't know, Arizona, they don't have that no more. I know that I'm in it for life. I just talked to someone, but not to go into detail, but I know that we're running out of a lot of water, down like in parts of like down south of Arizona. I was hearing the farmers are starting to suffer down there.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, so that's another, because okay, so you would think that it wouldn't cost like an absorbent amount of money to, like, I don't know, how about like build some shit that catches water? Like, look at all the water we just got rained on, and we didn't do anything with it,
Yeah.
right?
Did
So
they talk about doing a pipeline from Mississippi to like Powell or something like that? I don't know. Don't
They
quote me on that, but I heard something like that.
they could have done something like that, like a long time ago. They knew when they made the treaty between the 7 states about the Colorado River, they knew that that wasn't gonna suffice. But I think that they also are not trying to help the drought because they, once again, they can use that as a reason to blame everything on. They're gonna come in and be like, hey, we need to do this and that so that everybody can have some water, and we need to do this. And they're pretty soon you're gonna have like no gas
Well,
cars.
didn't you look into that cloud seeding? Remember?
I saw that.
There's videos on YouTube like that. Even Vice did an interview where they went to, was it somewhere in what's it called, Eretz or something like that? And what they do is they fly planes in the sky when a cloud comes in, and they spray the cloud. And not only that, they talked about it just recently on YouTube. So it's becoming like, now the cat is out of the bag,
It's but they've been doing that for a long time.
And that cloud
Yeah,
actually.
you could do research on it. You'll see. And I was like, wow, I watched the whole segment on Vice on that. And
Yeah.
But since
Okay.
they can do that, that they're not really doing a lot about the water. What they're doing is they're putting restrictions in.
Yeah.
So, like, did you know in Arizona, this recent inflation bill or whatever, they're going to be paying farmers not to farm.
Yeah.
oh shoot, I know they were protesting too recently down there, weren't they?
And it's like that. They don't realize that doesn't make sense, dude. Like, if we're running out of water, the thing to do isn't okay, let's also run out of food
Right.
to save like us from
Wow.
running out of water. So they're taking away everything under the guise of it being something that we all have to make a change. And it has to be the way they want it, not how we, because we're all super smart people. I know like if we could get things down into smaller communities, like everybody could work together to figure it out and Earth would heal from people being like that instead of us trying to ship everything across the freaking planet or wherever, whatever we are.
That's why it's really important to like be aware of what's happening, because they're trying, because the ones that aren't really aware of what's happening will just kind of go along with it because they'll be
Right.
scared into it.
And that
So
sucks, dude.
that's why it's like so important for like people to share their knowledge and talk and connect.
Well, it's like there's communities over there in Scotland where like the whole neighborhood grows vegetables and they trade with each other. I couldn't believe that. Literally like big neighborhoods that just
right.
grow on their property and they trade.
Yeah.
I thought that was
That's
awesome.
Right. And there's
I don't
good
see
people
that
that are
here.
planning stuff.
I agree.
There's good people.
I've seen a few of them around, and I think that's awesome. I think there needs to be more. Well, there's gonna be more.
So like there's like so Food Forest Abundance, they are they teach people and they are working on like they make systems, right? Like so like you could have your own like ecological system in your yard. So you like garden and you plant things that are based on like where you're at and like when you want to grow, and like you can plant one thing that attracts a certain type of bug that another plant needs, and then have a pond and then use the water that the fish pee in and stuff to pour it into your soil because it's also like nutrients.
Oh, that's called aquaponics. Yeah,
Oh, is that what that's called? Well, this
Yeah,
Food
they
Forest,
raise like you could raise like tilapia fish and then like pump the water into your garden and then filter it and bring it back in there. I've seen that. There's videos of that on YouTube, like know-how videos to do that if you want to do that yourself too.
Well, there's people that have bought land with other people, and then they're creating these little communities, like that, where they're doing that with everything. And so, like one of the King's Domain is another company that is helping with stuff, and he grows like hemp. He's like I guess he was like the largest marijuana dealer in history or something.
Oh, really?
Like this is something he does, and he married a Russian spy in jail.
Oh, great.
And like they're doing like stuff to try to help teach people, because we have all of this stuff at our fingertips, but we've always been told either lies that scared us from being to like wanting to try it,
Yeah.
or and
have you ever heard of reefer madness?
Yes.
That propaganda, those videos.
Yeah.
Turn everybody against weed, and that's why weed is so bad. Give it a bad rap,
right?
That's bullshit,
you had was it William Randolph? Spent a lot of his money. He owned like a bunch of logging companies. He spent a lot of money. I think William Randolph or something like that. Spent a lot of his money doing like propaganda, like flyers, demonizing weed and marijuana.
Yeah.
Dude, there was like a list of things that they could send you away for. I think it was like in the 1800s too.
And was it weed?
Because they had all these asylums everywhere, right, for crazy people. And it was more like they were all conditioning camps, because the orphanages and the asylums were in the same buildings. But they were, you could be like sent to the asylum if you were a woman and you had your own ideas or opinions.
Yep, we were crazy.
Like all kinds of crazy.
Well, that's another thing. After, wasn't it after the Civil War? Supposedly there was all these like mental asylums that just like popped out of nowhere. Remember, look that up on YouTube. One of these times, and they're like Tartarian type. Huge.
There were.
They are.
There were.
They think they were Tartarian.
I mean, they're like
type.
big and they're like long buildings, man. They're like almost like damn castles,
Yeah, there were asylums for sure.
But it makes you wonder, like, why did after all of a sudden they needed that? It's just.
Yeah. And we don't need it now, right?
Well, now they just let us, you know, I don't know, like shoot each other, or
They just let us run around crazy like.
they still put you into an institution. It's just you think that you're free.
Yeah, really, we're all institutionalized pretty much.
You know, the thing though that we have on our side is like all of us are so intelligent. If we just, you know, always use our discernment, like weigh everything, because we don't know.
Question everything. You don't have to believe everything that you read in a book. You don't have to believe everything someone tells you to.
Right.
Yeah, we're barely realizing.
And trust yourself and your intuition and your experience as a human. Even though somebody says something some way, if you have an experience or something that says that you know otherwise, listen to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to yourself.
Be the authority on your own life. Like, be the authority on your own truth. Like, you are the expert of your own self.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you know.
Hey, Nikki and Jared and Robert, what do y'all believe in about alien abductions?
Oh, I believe
that sounds
that
hard.
the alien abductions, I think that they only abduct people who they know.
What you mean they know?
Are us like, okay, so I believe aliens are probably okay. So y'all know I believe in like past lives and reincarnation. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
that maybe aliens that come abduct are aliens that have been people before, and they only maybe they abduct their own selves, like their own past selves or their own something to. But all of it's for research. I think they do it all for research. It could be time.
Okay.
I think that they're from another. I don't think that they're from space.
Kind of like how we trap animals and study them. You know, they kind of like do that to us.
Oops.
I don't
A
know.
what?
Messengers.
You know how kind of like how we study animals. You know, we trap them. You know, put them to sleep. Study 'em.
Yeah.
They bite. You know, that's what they do. I don't.
That's what we would do. We went to another
Mm.
planet.
Yeah, they're experimenting and stuff.
I
And,
haven't seen too much on that really.
I don't
I mean,
think
I watched a video one time where there was this doctor that supposedly he took out like implants that they would put little small implants that they would
Yeah.
people had in them, you know, and he would remove them, and they weren't, you know, made of any material that was from Earth, you know.
Yeah.
There's a video on YouTube on that interview.
I can't remember his name, but he's dead now.
Yeah, he's dead now.
He kind of looks like an orangutan, the doctor.
I
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but
No, I know.
you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I
What's
think
his name?
he does. Okay, I just know who you're talking about now. He does look like an
Yeah.
actor. Yeah, he's an old man. I'm pretty sure he's got to be dead.
Oh,
I don't know.
But what does he say, Ben? What about him?
He's taking a lot of chips out of people.
Oh wow.
I wish I could remember his name, but
Yeah,
he's taking a lot of chips out of people, and it's a foreign substance. It's,
someone's connected to the nerve or something, huh? Like
yes,
he was showing
exactly. So
like-
where
like
the
his
body,
nerve.
so where the body does not form an attack tissue like the A blood cells, right?
Yeah.
They
Okay.
don't-
So it's like a foreign body that's something that our bodies won't attack.
Yep, they do.
That
Yep.
means that it's got something that's not foreign to us on it. That means that we have receptors for it in us.
That means they're us, probably, or they
could be us
In
from
a
a past life
different
or in a
dimension.
different dimension.
Literally.
Unless they made us.
Then some.
They could have made us. I mean, that's going to be hard for. That would be a bubble burster because we all believe.
Religion.
Go ahead, Robert.
They
Oh,
have.
right.
I'm sure they have way advanced technology than us, so they could record us just by looking at us or being near us or something like. And then
That could be the case.
I wish I've never seen like a UFO, dude. I've always wanted to.
I don't really want to see one.
I've seen things in the sky before, but I mean, not like
I've
What do
seen.
you
it's not like I took out a pair of binoculars or a really good camera and like, oh shit, you know, you get a real close up. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen weird things. Well, there was one time where I was over there on the what was it, the west, over there on the west end of town of Flagstaff, and I thought I seen something, and it seemed like it was going in and out like some type of like cloaking device. I don't know, like a I don't know. It was something shiny going by, and you could see it, and then you wouldn't see it. And I remember it got close, and I actually got scared.
They have
I,
drones
the fear came
Really?
into me. You know, I mean,
that can go invisible to sight, like to your with your eyeball, not like
Oh, like the military?
yeah, because it has like an LED screen that on the bottom, and so what it does is it turns on it, or it's like a mirror or something, and it reflects.
Oh, like a
the
mirror?
sky, so like you can't see it when
That's crazy.
and they but stuff like that, dude, like that technology I think has existed for a long time.
Huh?
I think technology that like Tesla and stuff that he was working on, I think
Oh,
certain
yeah.
existed.
I'm sorry.
What was that?
Tesla. She was talking about Tesla. I think he was
Tesla seems like he was from not from his time.
he knew
I don't think
things.
he's alien.
I think he was trying to keep the electric grid going, because if you look at, I mean, I've seen some of the schematics of what they think how the energy grid worked, and there's a picture. I mean, a picture where it shows like all these wires going everywhere, like a what do you say, like it was a grid, and they shut it off or something. Remember those pictures I sent you?
Yeah.
Where they like you'll see like the buildings are lit up at night, and I'm like, shit, we
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
have light bulbs
We
like
had
that.
free
We didn't even, you know,
Yeah.
the only light bulbs like that are like the LEDs we have today. I mean, they're brighter than hell, you know. I mean, but
Free
I mean,
energy it just worked.
I wonder how it works though too.
Well, because like I don't know, dude.
So that means that energy is just free, and we could just make
well,
lights
even
on it.
well, the way they did it was like to Tesla.
can
Remember the coil? They
Right.
did something like that, similar to that, you know,
Automatic
invention that he had going, you know. But if you
Right.
ever notice some of those old Tartaria buildings, you'll see like those antennas.
Right. Yeah.
They'll have those weird shaped antennas, you know, and they're like, you know, on each end there's like 4 at a time, you know.
They have a spire. They don't have a cross.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, they say it's because.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying it
yeah.
quietly.
I mean, I guess it's okay to. I mean, we're not saying anything bad.
No, I love all the.
I mean, because we were talking about the Mormon temples because they are very Tartarian looking, except for the newer ones. Those look different. Like the one here in Mesa doesn't look like the ones I've seen in Utah. There's some.
Are they like brand new? The ones in Utah, like brand new?
No, they're old, but they look like Tartarian buildings. They look like they were found, not built like by people in the 1800s.
Yeah, that's
At least
crazy.
not like the people. Yeah. There's no way they could have been like if you can't even keep like your camp from getting like cholera or whatever, like
How could you?
if you don't have the ability to like have pipes and like plumbing, how are you
How
gonna
did they
build
that?
And that's the other thing too, a lot of those giant buildings and castles and stuff like that, they didn't have bathrooms, dude.
Maybe people didn't shit
Oh,
pipe.
Like Buckingham Palace didn't have bathrooms until they put some in there. Isn't that
Wow.
weird? Like, how do you have such a large castle but you don't have bathrooms?
Well, they didn't have plumbing.
Maybe they. I'm serious.
Yeah, but they had fountains.
They shit
They
in
had
a fountain.
huge fountains. How do you have a fountain with that water pressure if you don't have something that
were
can?
there fountains or were they just baths?
There was fountains in a lot of.
How did the fountains go?
I don't know. That's another point they were talking about.
Yeah,
Like,
how did the
they
fountains go?
He said what it was, but I can't remember.
Back then or right now?
Didn't they say? Didn't they say like they used? I don't know. I saw something where someone came up with an invention where you can use shit to create energy.
Yeah, something like
And they were talking
oh,
about that. Where
Yeah.
maybe they used that back then. Don't quote me on
I
that.
think
But
that
I mean,
I think it was
I
something
dug up
like
a little bit about that.
but the fountain, like, dude, you'd have to have like super advanced plumbing and like water supply and everything to make a
Like,
fountain
yeah,
like
don't
that.
you need a pump? Like, right?
Right.
That's an interesting, unless there's something.
Exactly, a pump. Have you any of you guys ever read Devolved?
No.
No.
It's pretty good.
Night,
Pretty
Batman.
Bye, Bat Mom. Have a good night.
Yeah, no, I haven't. What's it about?
Yeah, what is it talking about?
It's
Wait.
about
Grab it.
Bigfoot predating on people.
Oh, Bigfoot predating on people?
Predating on people.
Oh. Well, I saw something today and I didn't get to finish watching it.
What was
about-
it? Like, okay,
Yeah.
so like Bigfoot being here before people?
No, not predating, like
Oh.
being a predator.
Oh, predator. Okay.
Ah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. Predating.
Well, put it this way: if you look up, isn't it weird how there's a lot of people that go missing in government national parks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look that up. There's like literally
Well,
a lot of people go
yeah,
missing,
Just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
kids, dude. That's because they're doing something.
and
With,
it's different because you can't just call the city cops to do an investigation because it's government land.
You're
Right.
I was
right.
watching how that works, and I was like, this one retired cop was trying to put it all together, and the one place where the most missing people,
Don't call a
In
cop a
Alaska.
retard, bro.
it's Alaska. Alaska, and then was it Arizona's number 2 for missing people?
For missing people?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
there's a
Alaska number 1, and then Arizona number 2.
huh.
I'm really glad.
Arizona is number 2.
Yeah.
Arizona, I
So-
think so. Number 2. I mean, yeah,
Is
right.
it
I
for
think
people
number
just
two,
in
number
general
three.
or children or just both?
Just people disappearing, just missing. You know.
They said it's like another.
About
Matter of fact, there was scientists that did a study in Alaska where they were trying to really see if Bigfoot exists, and they saw where there was like trees that were literally ripped out of the ground and shoved upside down and shoved in the ground.
Wow.
And they said they did a test too. They kind of like used big logs and they were pounding on the trees, and they could hear something making noise too off in the distance.
So
Like a
you
form.
think
I don't know how true it was, but there was a video on that I remember.
so in your own opinion, is Bigfoot real?
I've never seen him. I don't know.
I think
kinda
it
hard to
could
tell.
have been real.
I think he's real.
I think
I mean,
there's
is there any evidence other than visual? I mean,
maybe
they
he
have
was
that
just
old.
giant.
They have that old video, that one that they use over time and time of
Yeah.
Bigfoot walking by. You know that famous video.
the Patterson film.
Yeah, but other than that, what other evidence do we have? I mean, shoot, people have camera phones nowadays. I mean,
That's a good point. That's a very good point. But I mean,
you know. But then
Yeah.
again, like something like that could probably blend into the environment. I don't know. It's just who
I think
knows. you
There's
know?
land somewhere that they take the kids.
I mean, for all we know, Bigfoot could have really good ears and hear us before
I do
we
think
hear him, get away. I mean,
things.
has
Um,
anybody? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think there's people because so like I went to like a seminar thing on Bigfoot thing, and I met this man. His name was Mitchell Waite, and he used to go out. I think he lived here in Arizona, and he used to go out and like talk to them and like feed them. Not really talk to them with words, but talk to them, like communicate with them, like leave food for them. And he would wear a red shirt all the time, so they knew who he was.
Sorry, guys. Hang on a second. Let me try.
And I don't think it came on. And then so like I believed him. I believed that because he had all kinds of pictures and all kinds of footprints, and I really do believe him that he like made some kind of connection with them. They knew his red shirt, and they would come and get the food that he left for them. And he like dedicated the last part of his life to that. And I think he's real.
Wow.
I think it's because I didn't go in. Oh wait, how do I?
And
Okay.
I don't know about all those other things.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, everybody.
It's not gonna work.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I was trying to add the picture. Sorry. Robert, I posted
Yeah,
it
I
on
don't think it's
Messenger,
gonna
and
work,
Robert
yeah.
can look. Robert, you can look at your Messenger and see it. So he
Hey,
can see it.
Bomber.
Robert, you should look at the picture I sent on Messenger. It's that picture of the shadow in the sky.
Yeah, I want to send that to my sister. She thinks it's an optical illusion.
Really? Dude, but I could see it with my eye too, not just the
I know.
camera. It was
I don't think
weird.
she's still in here. It's late for her.
Oh.
So I hear, like with like a Bigfoot event, it's also it also coincides with a poltergeist event and like alien events. Have you ever heard of that?
No, not really. Do you mean like if somebody has a paranormal experience that they're more likely to see Bigfoot?
Yes.
I
So
think that's true because I don't think anybody that their third eye is not open is gonna see him.
There was ties to Bigfoot and Tartaria, but I didn't finish watching the video, so I don't know what they were. But there was a video on how Bigfoot was related.
So
to
okay, so
Tartaria.
I didn't get to do much research on Tartaria this week because I don't know why. But what exactly, where exactly, and the what and why and how and who and all
That's
that.
a very loaded question.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
all right, I'll tell you about what I have learned, and make of it what you will. But have you ever heard of Skinwalker Ranch?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir.
Oh,
We
yeah.
live in Walker Country.
We live in Skinwalker Country.
Really, in Utah?
No, here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's in the Uinta Basin in Utah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I see. Go ahead.
what's that, bud?
I seen the Skinwalker Ranch. I seen where the scientists went there with a team, and they wanted to prove that, that there was nothing going on, and they took a lot of equipment with them. Really expensive equipment, and
Yeah.
some of the stuff they got was just weird. Like they saw like on the mountain over there. There's a mountain near Skinwalker Ranch where they were recording. There was this beam of light that just shot up into the sky. It was weird.
Yeah,
And there was like some type of weird energy on this mountain up there, and
yeah.
it just like they didn't even know what to make of it, especially with all the education, and knowledge they have. I mean, they were just
That's
clueless to a lot of the stuff going on.
What do you
And I
know
guess
about it?
didn't one of the cows didn't one of the cows die or something too? And they even had films and videos, and it just happened like so quick or something like that.
Oh God.
I remember seeing that too, and it was like they
Yeah,
couldn't believe it
there's
happened.
a
They
lot
couldn't believe it
of,
happened that quick.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that they just couldn't believe that happened that quick when they had the whole area covered with video. Just one
Yeah.
of the cows, they heard something. The cows were like acting up. They went over there, and there was a cow that was mutilated. And I'm like, what's with the cow thing?
Well, dude, that's been going on for at least like 60 years.
But I've
And
always wondered, like, why? Is it they just? I mean,
I don't know, but it's
Maybe
surgical.
they're hungry.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not about food. It's they surgically look. If you look up Linda Moulton Howe, she will tell you exactly how the cattle are mutilated.
No.
I mean, they're not mutilated like being eaten. They're cut with
yeah, they're like cut open
precision.
professionally. Yeah,
Exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah. Cut open with precision.
yeah, like if it was a professional surgeon, that did that.
Yeah, a professional surgeon with a lightsaber.
They're doing.
Yeah.
They're doing
Yeah, there you go. For
experiments.
better
They're-
afterwards.
I mean, really.
Oh, I believe you. Yeah.
Look it up. Look it up. Look at Linda Moulton Howe.
There was a show about the Skinwalker Ranch, wasn't there? Did anybody watch that?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't watch it, but I know that. So the government went to try to debunk it, and there's something called the hitchhiker effect.
Okay.
So they saw a lot of shit, and they would go home and they'd come back. And then their family members would just fucking have horrible visions. Like a shadow man. And then a lot of their family members got cancer.
Oh shit!
Yes.
You're talking about the government people that went there to check things out. Their families experienced their family members, not the ones that went there, but their family members experienced some stuff.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that? Like
They
is
call
it or what?
there's an actual term for it, the hitchhiker effect.
Wow. So I experienced trauma and then someone else feels it.
Well, these people, like the people that went over there, it seems like they brought it home, and whatever is at Skinwalker Ranch, I guess didn't want them to go, so it hit them in the hardest place it could hit them, and mess with their family.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah,
That's
it
not a very
does.
good entity at all.
Yeah. So there was the government was doing it with some kind of billionaire owner guy. So they
he owns it now. Some guy.
No, a different dude, man. This dude owns it now, and there are hitchhiker effects, and they do not know what's going on with this place.
So I grew up learning that a skinwalker was like a Native American entity. Yeah, shapeshifter that could shape into animals or be people, but it was like kind of like an evil entity. And so I don't know if that's exactly what's happening over there on Skinwalker Ranch.
No,
I think it's something else.
Well, they on a lot of the research I was doing, there was this guy was talking about the Grand Canyon, how some people say that some of the formations in the Grand Canyon are old Tartarian buildings that are like ruins.
What you mean Tartarian? I'm sorry. Forgive my ignorance.
Oh no.
So, like, what is a Tartarian?
So
what's a Tartarian?
A Tartarian
is supposedly a civilization time. Back then, if you look at some of the old world maps, they talk about Tartaria, Tartarius, like it's like ancient civilization. They believe that there was a time where we had these old buildings, the best of the best masonry. We had free energy.
Like what point in time?
Like
they think it's not that.
That's the thing, because it talk about, well, you'll see the maps. There's like 400, 500, 800-year-old maps, and they talk about that. You know, it shows it on these maps. You'll see that term, Tartaria a lot on there. Tartarius, Tartaria.
All right, I got a question for you.
They were talking about like, how Christopher Columbus didn't really discover America.
Yeah.
So they were talking about like even before Leif Erikson, that there was somebody, and he had wrote like a thing of his experience, and he went from like Mexico to Canada, and he came across these native indigenous people, and he said that they had teeth like dogs.
Holy shit.
And that's how you'll know these people. And it made me think
I remember some teeth like dogs.
Huh?
I remember hearing something like that.
Yeah, and it made me think of skinwalkers, because people say they're shapeshifters and sometimes they turn into dogs.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Maybe that's what that guy's talking about.
So all this stuff, okay, so there's a lot of people that have all kinds of cryptid groups on YouTube and stuff. And you know what? With all the things that are coming out, it's going to come out that most of the shit's probably real.
Yeah,
Really things.
Hey, what about this one? I don't get this. I was watching some videos on YouTube where, like, someone's on the highway driving, and or standing, but there's multiple videos where someone's recording like a plane in the sky, and it's just standing still
I
there.
saw that, Robert.
Wait,
I'm like,
what?
all right. I'm like, okay, because you can see the video. I'm like, no one's that good at video. I mean, video
Mhm.
shop or
No,
whatever you
Robert,
call
I
it.
was on the
It's called
freeway.
in motion,
I
and
know
you
what
can
it
see the
is.
trees moving.
What is it, Ben?
Wait,
What
what?
is, what
So I
is
was
it?
driving on the freeway, and there was a plane coming in for a
Oh,
landing.
Noah, my son saw that. Yeah.
and the plane
Remember
was
we
just
talked about
sitting
that.
there in the sky,
We talked
not
about
moving.
that last week. My son saw that.
How
What kind of plane?
did that?
And they
plane-
try to say that there's some kind of wind draft that causes the plane to do that, and I'm like, bullshit, because the plane don't even move at all. It's just like,
And it doesn't make noise.
Is it a passenger plane?
He said it was like it was.
no, these are like
It was a passenger plane. It was a
Something
regular plane.
Cessna. Some are
There's a lot of people that see that. It's like a thing if you look it up, because I looked it up.
yeah, that tripped me out. I was like, wow, man. I'm like,
I wasn't alone
I've been
either.
seeing,
No,
I've seen
no.
more videos, multiple videos of that, and I'm like, wow, that's not just like,
Yeah, it's
you know,
happening.
like one time. It's happened quite
Yeah.
often.
All right, so it wasn't a passenger plane.
No, it was. It was.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son saw it and his girlfriend too, because they were right here by the airport.
I do not know. That is wow.
It says. Remember, I told you guys it was called something. I looked it up last week. What was it called? That's actually a phenomenon. It says it's an optical illusion, but I'm like, that is not an optical. How do you optical illusion that?
I guess they say that the wind is moving faster than the plane, but yeah, right.
Okay. Would we
What?
all be blowing
We
away?
would see this all the time.
If the wind's moving that fast, we would not.
Well, how
have-
about this one? Remember the one plane that's flying with the banner? That was a good one because the banner's not even moving.
Oh shit! I never saw
That's what
that
blew
one.
my mind. That's what blew my mind away. The plane, yeah, it's trailing a banner, and they're recording it, and they're actually moving the camera too, showing like I mean, how could you video shop that? You know, I mean,
Right.
it was so real. You know,
I was thinking to myself, what were the people in the plane thinking? Like, did they even know they were stopped?
I know, right?
Like, where are those people? I haven't heard from them.
If anybody has ever been on a plane that was stopped in midair, please join the chat.
Yeah, right.
I think it's just weird that so many people have seen that.
wasn't there this like pilot that I think he made a Facebook page or YouTube page, something like that, but he would like literally record out the window what he saw a lot, and you know, he started to get real famous, and they took him down. They took his website down.
Yeah.
I saw a video where he's recording a UFO, and that UFO is really close. I mean, like right next to the plane, and it's just, I mean, he really got some good footage. But yeah, they pulled the plug on him. You know, he was, I don't know, maybe he was getting too close, literally.
Yeah. I think I think that they can get to anybody if they want to. And even if you think you're like small potatoes, I think that they'll find a way to you.
Look what they did to Alex Jones. They shut Alex Jones down.
Oh,
Remember
did they?
him?
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, he used to talk a lot about stuff, and they didn't like
Whatever
what he
happened
said.
to the Steven? Was it Steven Seagal?
He did something with
Yeah,
like things,
with shows.
unbelievable things,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and the way he talks.
Right.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Was it
Wow.
Steven Seagal or no? No, it was the wrestler guy. What was his name?
Was it the Jesse Ventura?
Yeah, Jesse Ventura. That's it. I said Steven Seagal.
And I agreed. I'm all yeah.
Oh, they both had a ponytail.
And we believed it. Of course it'd be
Yeah, he
Steve.
was supposedly went out to hangars with UFOs in them, and they wouldn't let him in. So
How thick
that's
is
the
it?
end of that story.
Well, we don't know how thick the Earth is. Nobody does. And we also
The
don't
Earth is
know
flat.
that there is like anything in it, or if it's round or hollow.
Yeah, we
or
don't know.
If
But-
if it's convex.
Donald
or
wants to
concave.
talk about flat Earth. He's been saying
Oh,
Yeah, you want to talk about flat Earth, Donald?
that.
oh God.
No, No.
Well,
I
if
don't
he
know.
proposes,
I know this week I have known more than doctors, 2 of them. So I'm feeling pretty confident right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right, huh? There's like lawyers, scientists, all that are backing up the flat Earth, theory.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, and like when people say flat Earth, and they think, because trust me, I thought the same thing. I thought it was ridiculous. I don't know what shape the Earth is, but I know that we're not a globe spinning through space.
I know Hillary is always Hillary Clinton has said the
Okay.
dome quite often.
What was that?
You should listen to some of the words Hillary Clinton says. She's talked a lot about the dome.
glass
She
ceiling?
said the glass ceiling or something. And you're like, oh, okay, what'd she say?
Right, breaking through because the firmament, it could be, and there's a
Well,
lot
you know how it is. If you're a politician in power, you get to know certain things. It's just,
Yeah.
Oh, you sure do. Sure do. Or if you're an astronaut.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That's
I think something's up with her. I think she's evil.
She is. Oh,
I don't want to say that, man, because
I love Hillary.
Hillary Clinton is not evil.
hey, Hillary, we love you.
I think she's pretty evil.
I'm gonna die.
Who's covering my ass, people?
I think Hillary Clinton
We could be held to the earth for many
eats
things.
babies and stuff. I think she's pretty evil.
It'd be super easy to prove like that the Earth is a globe. They just need to fly over Antarctica and let us all see.
Yeah, but
them
they won't
do
let
it.
anybody fly over Antarctica.
Yeah, well,
Have you
Yeah.
guys ever seen a fucking
Why would you
rainbow?
let anybody go
My
there?
God.
You ever seen that video where there's a helicopter that literally flies really deep into Antarctica?
No.
Excuse me. And it lands on this
No.
like plateau. And if you really look at it, they look like, they're really flat plateaus. Like if maybe there were trees at one time,
Oh shit.
So
And
you
we-
think?
well,
Oh,
we
okay.
What did she say?
we don't even know like videos they show us that it's really. They say they're landing on Antarctica. Like literally, we are not allowed to check anything.
You're right.
I know. Wasn't there like some Nazi subs that went towards Antarctica during the war?
Yeah, definitely.
And they never returned or anything like that.
Yeah.
If
They were
that-
unheard of again.
I don't know.
And too, there
No.
was a story too where America had sent some ships, and all of a sudden they were met with fight with a disc, like they said, a disc saucer. There was 2 of them, and that they sunk one of the ships. And
Well, they have
and
had
warning.
Damn.
like, left
And I
by-
remember seeing a black and white picture, man. It was kind of weird. I don't know how true it was, but
they have spaceships, and we
they really did a good job of burying that story, And then after all of a sudden, nobody went back,
I think that makes more sense.
Who is allowed to go there? Like who does?
Who is
go there?
allowed to go there? Well, people that are like presidents.
Well, obviously, if you get the green from the
G7.
government,
Yeah, government like the members of the G7 have had trips there. At least they say they have. Once again, like I can't tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
But I know that there's not. It doesn't make sense to be able to be at war with somebody inside of your countries where your people live, but you agree with them not to fight in Antarctica or over Antarctica or anything. That you all agree that it's, because we want to save the ice, we're going to cut down the Amazon, but let's not like get, the ice. So like nobody go there. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. And when you ask questions and people can't answer,
Mhm.
we're all told, they don't want us to focus on that. They want to teach us like algebra. That doesn't.
Which
make
they don't
sense.
really teach us.
Right,
anymore,
and they
yeah.
don't even teach us anymore. Like they don't teach school.
wow.
Yeah, my daughter had to teach her math teacher again.
Right,
So,
like, Well, I don't know. I feel like my son's getting cheated in school, really, because they're not really doing.
We got
Like
Well,
a bunk education.
I didn't really go to school that
We
much.
all got. They still teach that Christopher Columbus discovered America.
They still teach that, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's an insult, man. There's proof that there was up in Ohio there was over 100,000 people in a certain area
Right.
before he came. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's proof over there. There's
It's so
recorded
bad.
history.
Like there's so many things. Like if you look it up and you're like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, shouldn't we know that or something? Like, shouldn't that be on the news? And it's like, no, they put what they want to put on the news, and then that way you're distracted and you don't have time. That's the only downside about trying to research. It's like you have to be careful, because even if you're trying to just do research, you get
Put on
You know?
some list.
you get put on some list, or you get false information. That's why a lot of people think that flat earthers, they laugh at flat earth people before they even realize like what they mean by that when they say flat earth. Because that's what I thought. That's what I did. I used
Yeah.
to laugh at people too. I even reached out to a friend of mine. I don't know if she's watching or not, but Willful Truth, that I told her, I was like, dude, I owe you an apology, because I like literally was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that's ridiculous. And then I just listened for a second and realized that I don't know. And I listened and I was like, I took all these other experiences I've had in my life, but like outside of that,
Mhm.
and been like, dude,
Could be.
it makes sense that way. It didn't, like, because I was always confused, like how come, like, you know, but that doesn't make sense. But now, like, I'm like, oh shit, that actually makes
Yeah.
that
And then
actually
let's
makes
talk about
sense.
that for a second, though. Like, if somebody does think the earth is flat and if somebody doesn't think the earth is flat, like, what kind of argument is that? Like, don't we have better things to
And
do?
what does it
Right. What
matter?
does it matter? That's what a lot of
Yeah.
people say. Well, the thing that matters is the lie.
Yes, that's what matters. You're right.
Because then we're being controlled, and
And that's
people.
funny because I remember seeing a like a document where they made it a law on the railroad where I'll try to look for that and send it to you, where they made it a law where the engineer and anybody else who built the railroad, they had to build it straight. There was no curvature railroad.
and
And I seen a document that they made that a law to all railroad.
Right.
So anybody who was an engineer on the railroad trying to build it, not the engineer driving it, the engineer building the railroad, they had to keep it straight, the steel. And
Well-
they even made a law that there would be one railroad track, and they use that one railroad track, United States, that you see everywhere.
Anybody
know.
that might know a pilot, like ask them how they're trained to fly. Are they trained to fly accounting for curvature of the earth? Because they're not. They're trained to not account for any curvature. They're trained to fly over a flat plane. That's why it's called a plane.
I know how little words that make sense. You're like, oh shoot,
Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting because, like, think about how fast a plane goes, right?
Have a flyby.
If you had to account for curvature, you'd be flying fast and dropping.
But if they're talking about gravity, and it's
isn't it for every, what is it, every
so for every 8 miles,
is a 6-inch drop curvature or something like that?
right.
Something
So
like
if you're
that.
standing, you should be able to see no further than 3 miles away with our eyes. If there is
I've been in
curvature,
Texas.
right, and you can see a lot farther than that with your eye, you can. And it like the flat earthers theory, like not just the clock, everything.
Haven't they done that? Haven't they like get a camera and they've literally looked at a ship and there's literally no drop? Like they've
Yeah.
literally.
Well, that's the other thing. Now we have technology.
Like
We can
cameras
just
that
zoom
can
in.
see like really far and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because it looks like it's not there, but then you zoom in and you're like, oh, it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there and there's no curvature. It's just like
So how come we can still see it if
I don't know.
we're on a
If we were on a ball, we wouldn't be able to see it
Yeah,
because it'd be
that's-
down below. Yeah, it'd be
so
down
that's
below
a
the curve.
mystery. I wonder what's that.
Well, it's kind of like gravity. No one can really prove gravity.
It's not.
we have-
It's a
Yeah, we
theory.
theorized.
They admit
I
that.
mean, how do you really prove it? We do
We can't.
like science
Not a
tests,
proof.
but I mean,
It's not a fact. It's a theory. Like everybody
yeah,
tells
theory.
you. say that. They admit that. And if you think about it, if gravity was strong enough to hold the oceans down, like how can a balloon float up? And I get that things are different because it's lighter than air. I get that.
Well, helium, it's helium. They use.
Right. It's lighter than air, but how come, like, if there's a vacuum, like space is a vacuum and there's not a container, how is everything not sucked into the vacuum? How can you have a vacuum without a container? You can't. It would suck everything.
Oh shit. I see what you're saying.
Because like so if you blow smoke into a shoebox, right, and you're standing in the middle of a room and you put a lid on the shoebox so it's contained, the smoke can stay in there.
Okay,
right?
thanks
And you're
for
not
coming, Donald. Bye.
Thank you, Donald. But like if you blow smoke into a shoebox and you take the lid off, and we're not even in a vacuum, it goes out. The air doesn't stay in the shoebox. If gravity,
Is the atmosphere
huh?
our lid? Is
Like the firmament or whatever. Nobody knows what it is,
Yeah.
but it can't be a vacuum. It can't be air in a vacuum because there has to be something that keeps it in, or else it would be sucked out. And if it was if gravity was that strong, we wouldn't be able to walk or breathe or suck water up a straw with just we wouldn't be able to do all that. That wouldn't make sense. I don't know. It's freaking weird, man.
Yeah, and you know what? When all of these theories were developed, wasn't it like really, like it goes back to like what you're talking about, how the Tartarians built all those things, or how did people build all these things with what little they had? Like,
Right.
how come we're following like theories from people that didn't really know all the things that we know now?
There you go.
Right.
That's a great point.
Right. Right. That's a great point. Yeah.
So like, yeah, great minds need to get together and make new theories.
I don't think humans built those buildings, because if you look on most of those buildings, they have these big doors, right? And
I think humans were big too.
why would they put like the door hinges like way high? If you look at some of those old buildings, like
No, there was
They were
giants. There were giants, and Nephilim were big.
so yeah, it makes it seem like that. Because why would anybody go to that
Big,
much
too.
effort to do a
Right.
big door like that?
I heard something today on a video that really like kind
God
of like
bless
the
you.
same kind of.
The Anunnaki and Nephilim were the same.
Yeah.
Kind of the same. They both did really crazy things.
Well, you remember seeing Gilgamesh? Remember where he's like, there's a statue and where he's like holding the lion. Remember
Oh,
the
shit.
lion right here?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how big a lion is today.
Right.
So it would put him like what?
That would make him
15
really big.
feet, something like that.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to understand more of that time period,
Yeah.
It would.
because that would tell more.
Right.
Because they didn't have the same intentions that the same.
Well, the Bible talks. The Bible talked about, who was it? Was it David, the one that killed the?
Goliath.
Who was it? Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, they talk about giants.
Right.
Yeah, the Bible talks about wicked stuff, man.
Oh,
Talks
the
about
Bible talks about
ghosts, giants, talks
Bible
about
giants a lot. So
all kinds of
you know.
crazy stuff. You ever read that book before?
The Bible,
I'm
or
not religious, but I mean, I read. I like to. I'm interested in like stuff like that. And it's just like, wow,
Oh.
some of the
Yeah, I
stuff you
don't
read.
And there's always an mainstream answer on Google,
yeah.
unfortunately. There's
He feels dumb now. He
Why
says.
would you feel-
Yeah. Why
Oh,
do you feel dumb
don't
now?
feel dumb.
Don't feel
I
dumb.
think he's being joking.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to feel dumb. I mean, if you feel dumber for watching our show, that's different.
That's more on them than it is on
That's
me.
more not our problem. But don't feel dumb, Donald. You just
He
don't
doesn't
talk
really
that.
feel
No
dumb.
negative talking about yourself. We don't do that on the Authentic Happiness Show. I almost forgot the name of our show. Maybe I'm dumber too.
I love this discussion.
I do too. I just like having.
It's
discussions.
interesting because we can't Google everything and just be like, I Googled it, so it's true. Yeah.
We are on an hour and a half, you guys. I think we should wrap it up. We can't talk
Oh,
about
are we?
everything in one night.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, everybody,
Right on.
thank you very much for
Yeah.
listening.
Thanks for coming in and listening, everybody. Donald,
Fly by
sister,
Stu.
Fly by Stu,
Donald.
and of course Ben. You're
Cat
the best. We
Mom.
always love having you on the show. And
Ben.
Robert, dude, you're part of the crew
Yes.
now, man.
Yes, man. You are. You are. I'm
So have a good week, everybody, and we'll talk about something cool next time.
Okay.
Yes. Have a good night.
You
Yeah.
too.
Thank you,
Oh,
everyone.
and Robert, and then look at that picture I put on Messenger.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Take
All
care.
right.
All right,
Bye,
bye. We are out. Almost out.
They stayed really